All right, well, good morning. My camera, so when I'm looking at myself, I'm looking at y'all. Okay, well, good morning. This is Belanosis, your hostess with the mostest, and you know this. I am in New Orleans. It's February 13th, and I had an awesome day yesterday. I had, before I left Indiana to get to New Orleans, I was just like in my, mode of leaving. And I was like, God, I'll be real happy just to get away from a whole lot of my thoughts, the motherfucking thoughts follow me right on down here. Follow me right here to New Orleans. That one of the most free living places, free loving, living, whatever you want to call it, just everybody free to do what they want. And it's encouraged. Like, it's encouraged to go and drink till you can't drink no more. It's encouraged to, talk to strangers and just do things. I've seen play. You see things that is disturbing here. And amongst seeing all of that, I had all these thoughts of, conversations and, what ifs and, suggestions and all of these things that happen. And at the end of the day, I was wore out. I got down here, and I don't know if this is like a lot of things that happen to me. Sometimes I think that it's personal, and it ain't necessarily personal. It is the environment. It might have just been a collective environment here. Maybe a lot of people come here to get away from their thoughts and run smack dab into their thoughts, Maybe that's what happened, or maybe some things that I don't want to think about, I really need to think about, because I am the type of person that I'm like, I don't really see the need to stop and think about a whole lot of emotions that's gone. I feel like sometimes when I think about emotions, if these emotions are directly propelling me, then those are not the emotions that I need to think about. And I know also that emotions are things of control. Like, that is a mental tactic to control people. And when people know how to manipulate somebody, and manipulation most of the time come through emotional turmoil and disruption, So with that being said, I went on here, like, it was just so many things going wrong too. It was like, so when I got here, they didn't have no rooms ready, which I knew because I was coming in early. But most of the time, hotels I have something ready, But we don't have no rooms. So I was just like, can I put my bag back there? I had wore heels throughout the airport, which was probably not the smartest thing to do, but I wanted to feel cute, so I went on ahead and did that. And so when I got here, I had to go in my bag, get my shoes out, put my other shoes in there, what I'm saying, in the lobby, and then give them back the bag. Then I really, this was like it was like an impromptu trip. So I just was like, okay, I'm going to New Orleans for my Valentine's Day celebration, because I celebrate myself. For the last 3 years, I've been celebrating myself for Valentine's Day, because, I had to celebrate myself. If I be waiting for somebody else to celebrate me, a nigga never get celebrated. And I've just refused to wait on anybody to do these things for me. With that being said, I get here, and so the lady, the lady was real nice or whatever. Before that even happened, my plane landed. So I called a week ahead of time to try to, because normally you have to set up the type of thing that lets you know to schedule your shuttle, schedule, your ride from the hotel to schedule your ride from the airport to the hotel and vice versa. And so I called down there, called here where I'm staying like a week ago. It was like, okay, well, I wanna come here early. Will there be any rooms available? She was like, oh, well, you call us when you get here. I'm like, okay. And then I also was like, okay, man, I need to schedule the shuttle. You just call us when you get to the airport. I'm like, oh, this is sweet, I get to the airport, and I'm gonna finish the story, but I spoke about this in another Belanosis podcast, where I talked about instant gratification and how in ancient times there was no instant gratification. In more biblical speaking times, even though there are way more ancient times than biblical times, but using biblical times is a good reference point for, what I'm talking about here. And so in biblical times, when people wanted a response, they wrote letters. And it took a while for the letter to get there. And so when the letter would get to you, you would read the letter. And then you had time to sit down and think. No, you didn't have to. The person wasn't directly in your face. And the person wasn't, demanding an answer right away. So instant gratification is really something. It really is. It just really is something. Now, I'm going back so I landed at the airport. I landed at the airport, and I called the hotel. The lady like, oh, you need to go outside. Mind you, it's cold. It's New Orleans. Something that's going to be hot like how when I arrived in Vegas that time. So I get here, and I'm like, damn, it's cold. It wasn't cold enough to have no coat on, but it was cold. It was too cold to be standing outside. And so I went outside to where she told me to go to, and she's like, you're going to get a text message on your phone. You're going to get a text message. I never get the text message. So I go back inside because like, it's cold. So I wait. And so I call back the hotel. She's like, oh, I'm on another call. I'm like, so you just going to leave the... And so, it didn't click that this was a spiritual attack. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, okay, well, I'm a very patient woman. Like, even with the instant gratification, I'm a very patient woman. There is, I don't just fly off the handle. I don't. I really don't. So, I called back. I waited like 20 more minutes, and then I called back. No, I waited 30 more minutes, and then I called back, and she was like, oh, they said you missed the ride. And I'm like, I did not miss no ride, lady. I never got the text message. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And so she like, what is your number? So she said that she put 296 in that instead of 292. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I let her, have the mistake. I didn't want to challenge the lady because it's so much that goes on in a person's day. Every little thing don't have to be challenged. Every little thing don't have to be engaged. You know what I'm saying? So when I get to the hotel, they sent the Lyft driver. And the Lyft driver no. So the Lyft drivers was canceling the rides because they was going to the wrong place to pick me up. And I was just like, So I started calling these lift drivers like, hey, could you please quit canceling the ride and get here? So the one guy, he was just like, okay, I'm going to find my way. And he did. He came on over. And he looked different than what was in the picture. He had vitiligo. And I was getting ready to say vitiligo real bad, but I don't think vitiligo is bad or worse. I think it's something that you have. And he was real nice. You know what? He wore it well. He wore it well. Well, there ain't no problem. You know, I'm that type of person that when I see a person's flaws, I don't really like to pick at them. Even though I pick at my flaws, I pick at my flaws. But when I see somebody else have a flaw, I really like to try to make them feel beautiful about it. I do. I really need to try to do that practice to myself, but let's not talk about that. Anywho, I do try to make people not feel like I imagine that people are ostracized all the time about their flaws. They are like ostracized all the time. And so I want to be the type of person that when they meet me and they flaws show, and you know, people read people all the time, you know. So when their flaws show and they show me, I want them to have a beautiful thought. I don't want them to have a negative thought. So that's why I try to make people uplift them when they show me their flaws, or when their flaws are unconcealable. You know, when and it's not, and I call it a flaw, but really it should just be their uniqueness. We could call it that. And when, or you know, it could be a flaw and it could be a uniqueness, because that was his uniqueness, you know, having a skin that is two different colors, you know. But anyway, so he came and he picked me up, and he was real nice and took me to the hotel and told me about the parades and everything. So I was like, okay, that's what I'll do. So so that was an ordeal. Getting the lift to the hotel was an ordeal. Then when I get to the hotel, wasn't no rooms. That was an ordeal. So then I just like, let me just change shoes and go outside, because I had planned on coming in, taking a shower, and then going back outside. Like, that didn't happen. So I just, let me change the shoes out these heels, because I'm not going to be able to walk no more on these. And so then I gets my shoes on, and I gets another lift to the French Quarters. Oh, wow. Like, wow. It was cool, like, to get down there. And it is a place, it's a point down there where you can't even drive, because there's, like, so many people there. And so that was really nice. That was really nice. And so I got down there and I walked around, and I'm just like, shoot, I went and got now, let me tell you this, to the vegans, to the vegans, New Orleans is not the best place for food if you're a vegan. I'm a vegetarian now. just thought you. I'm a vegetarian for these little 3 days, and then I'm gonna go back to my veganism, because it's the only thing that really I can get to eat. They gave me a sandwich with olives on it, and you know how I am about bread. I can't eat all that shit, because it immediately shows up in my body, like immediately. So I'm just, when I go back, my friend, he don't want me to take this tea, but I think I'm gonna take it anyway, because I know I'm eating junk food. But anywho, I mean, well, it is a natural tea. It's not a bad tea. It's just, you know, it really cleanses. It's something. It's really something. But I think that I'm gonna go ahead and take it, because I know I've had that big ass fried sesame seed sandwich with olives and carrots and cheese. That's what I had, and it was good, but it was just like not like sustaining. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't eat all that bread either. I left a lot of it there. So after that, I would start walking around. I'm like, look, I need to look like I'm enjoying Mardi Gras. So I got some beads, and I got a hat. It's a cute little hat here. It's got like a veil on it. I can wear it like that. I can wear it like, I wore it like this most of the time because I didn't want that shit to be over my face when I'm trying to walk around. But yeah, so here's my little hat or whatever. So it was real fun. And I got some beads over there, but you know, I'm still in my bed clothes and I don't want to get nothing out of that on the camera. But, so I did that, and then I got some candy. I'm going back down there and get me some more of that candy, because I don't eat candy all the time. And that shit was fat. It was good. It was called Creole Praline. Woo, child. So I had some of that. But anyway, this is not what this podcast is about. Me wearing a fun hat, or it's really about, you know, being true to oneself and noticing all the things that could be considered a spiritual attack, but having the patience and the wherewithal to just get through them, to just get through the challenges of life. You know, because we all, that's why I was talking about the instant gratification, because most people want to have a life that when I think about challenges, I don't think about coming to the hotel and can't get a lift from the hotel can't get a lift from the airport to the hotel without problems. Like, when I think about life's challenges, I'm really not sure of what that looks like. So when I have a challenge, a lot of times it feels like a spiritual attack. A lot of times that's what it looks like to me. And I don't know if it is, or I don't know if it's not. But what I do know is that I am well prepared in my mental faculties to handle anything that comes my way. I'm totally overqualified to handle anything that comes my way. Doesn't mean it's not stressful. It doesn't mean that it's it doesn't mean that it's not stressful. It doesn't mean that it's not what I feel like that it is. It just means that I had to get through it. And that's one of my superpowers, is to be an overcomer. That's just one of my superpowers, period, that I overcome. I overcome circumstances or situations that's meant to tear me down, you know? Whether it was a collective energy that I felt when I got here or not. Because I really, like, now in hindsight, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, like, when I got here, I really thought that I was going to be able to just clear my mind, which it was kind of clear, because I wasn't thinking about the troubles of the world. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about, I need to get to this airport. I need to get to this hotel, and now I need to get to, you know, going outside and starting my vacation. That was the whole reason why I caught that early morning flight like that. So I go, and I had a lot of fun. I'm like, man, I'm ready to go back to the hotel. I haven't checked my bag in. I haven't checked into this hotel. I'm just out here just wandering around having a good old time. And then, you know, and that's the other thing, like, wandering around having a good time, like, that shit get old. That shit gets old. Like I just wanted some stability. Like, I'm just noticing all these things, like what happened on my adventure yesterday. So I goes into this shop, and it's this man there, and I'm like, can I just wait here for a second, because I need a place to send and lift to. So then they started doing that, canceling the rides again. I was like, oh God. Everybody kept canceling around. He's like, this is just not a good spot. You know what I'm saying? To be a rag, it happened a hard time to get through, which, because I guess at a certain time they had parades, and in certain parts of the city you can't drive. Didn't know that. So I goes, and I just started walking. I went one way, then I went another way, and then I went a one street where it was like less traffic, just people just hanging out. So I called the lift that came right on. So I'm like, oh God. So I get to the hotel, right? Now, how I travel, I'll use Priceline. So on Priceline, you have these things called price breakers. That's how I bought my hotel. So, they tell you got to pay for the hotel first, and then they'll show you what it is. That's what the fuck I did. Do you know these bastards did not pay this hotel? So I don't know if they charged me or if and then they didn't send a payment to the hotel. And I don't know. So I'm gonna pray about that because I haven't been able to check my one account where I think that I paid for the room on. But I'm gonna check it out because that was just some bullshit. So there I was. It was like someone was trying to provoke me to just argue with this lady, and I'm just like, I'm not finna argue with her. I'm not finna argue with nobody. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not finna argue with nobody. I'm finna to just handle things the way that I know that it gets done. Arguing don't help nothing. Arguing do not... certain things may need to be argued. But a misunderstanding or misinformation or things like that do not need to be argued. It needs to be solved. We'll probably with less talking. You know what I'm saying? But so the young lady, because she came over to the thing, and I'm just like, so you need a deposit or what did you say? Because she's like, your card is declined. And then those thoughts started coming through my mind because I'm still not working. I quit my job in December. It's February. I'm still not working. And I bought this trip thinking that I had some interviews and I know like, okay, I'll be working by that time and be able, you know what I'm saying? That type of thing. I have yet to work somebody's job. I have not. So when I got here and that lady like, your card is declined, I set aside a special card so that I could get down here and have a good time and not worry about money. And I'm not broke. I have money. It's just, the dwindling down of fundings is very nerve-wracking. I know, like, I have a job at the airport, but I don't even know how that's gonna work out. Like, everything is just all up in the air right now. And while it feels so freeing, to not have a particular place to go to I am in school. That's due. Due tomorrow. I have to pay my school tuition tomorrow. So all of, you know what I'm saying, like all of life's journey costs money. And so I do not regret quitting my job. I do not regret it because that's a whole nother podcast. And I don't even think I want to document at this time in my life the amount of anguish that I went through at that job. However, what I will say is I do not regret quitting that job. I'm definitely thankful that I was willing to free myself from a situation that clearly was not good for my mental health. And I'll just leave it at that. But so I'm looking forward to going back home, or I'm looking forward to some solutions presenting themselves to me. Because I do have a friend that said the solution is there before the problem. So the problem right now is like, okay, I got all these bills to, and I do have, funding to take care of these bills, but like this the last month I got funding. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really need to be working somewhere. With that being said, I don't want to bring this podcast down. I want to continue to tell you about this hotel. Okay, so, but now I digress, because when I got to the hotel to change my shoes and everything, you could tell it was just like something in the air. And there, I just looked and I was like, God, they're used to people coming in here with attitudes, and especially if things like how the lift ride was going for me, and then I had to show up here, then they had to face me, and then I'm just like, I'm not gonna beat these people up. I'm not gonna make their life bad because of whatever happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that. So I got in here. You could tell it was just like a little air, like, you know. And people be and I imagine they have to be quick on the job, like, nigga, like I'm the one working, like, woo out the bed. You know what I'm saying? So you could tell that like those type of things happen here. And so I just was really, I probably was a little overly sweet because I just wanted them to know that, you know, I feel them, and I'm a worker too. You know, I'm a worker. I don't want to say I'm a working woman because you know how that really fucking sounds, but I'm in the job force. You know what I'm saying? I have a career. You know, these are the type of things that, you know, go through my mind when I deal with people who are at their job. You know, she was at, you know, these women, when I walked into the lobby, were at their jobs. And the general public should have more of a compassion for people who are at work, you know, and especially people who understand what punch clock mentality is like. But anyway, so that went on. Then I got back here. The girl told me my damn room wasn't paid for. Lord have mercy, what she do that shit for? So and then she came back over to try to argue with me some more. I'm like, ma'am, I do not want to argue. I'm from Indiana. I'm in Louisiana, and y'all telling me I can't get a room, ma'am. I'm not finna argue with you. I gotta get this taken care of. And so it looked like the lady understood. It looked like she really understood. Please excuse my that being all over my head. I ain't quite got ready. I wanted to just take time to document my trip and document these things that happened on the first day here. Like it was like a lot of times in my astral travels, I have visions of how situations look. And I often times think about when I go to new places, then I'm in my little spaceship. And you know, when you go to a new planet, it's kind of like you're getting through the atmosphere, like, ah! It's that's how I kind of felt getting here. It kind of felt like, you know, going through the atmosphere. But I also, when I have those visions, it's also I see myself get out of my spacecraft, and it immediately like green luscious trees and palm branches and hibiscus and all of that is just following behind me because, you know, I bring life. So then I went to then I went out, and I really did have a good time. It was just trying to get back to the hotel. They kept canceling my ride, and I had to sit in the shop for a long time, but then I finally walked around. And you know what? That happened to me somewhere else. like I really believe that those be spiritual attacks. And, you know, it just really be the enemy trying to strike fear in my heart, but I'm fearless, you know. And I understand that I'm protected, and I understand that my angels are all around me. I just understand certain spiritual aspects of my life that helps me to be calm in certain situations and to be able to search within myself for a solution, for an answer. So I come up to my room or whatever. I'm in deep prayer because I'm thinking about all these things that I didn't want to think about in Indiana here. And so I did that, and after I came up here and I had this prayer and I got a lot of things off my chest, I was just like, I'm finna go outside and have some fun. Because all these things was meant for me to get here and just like it totally exhausts me, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna let this happen to me. So I get myself dressed and everything, and anybody who knows, I struggle with always obsessing over my weight and everything. That's another podcast too. But so I thought I looked beautiful in my dress, and I felt beautiful, and I just thank God that, everything that was sent my way to tear my mental space down, I was able to, I don't even know if I was able to, even though I am a master transmuter. I am. I am a master transmuter. I know how to transmute energies to suit me. And it may take, like, the level of attack yesterday was so strong that it just took a while to transmute that energy. It just took, like it just was a lot of energy, and it takes, like, to funnel it down into the new energy that I was creating it into. Just took a while, but I am a master transmuter, and I know how to transmute those type of energies. I was determined to go out. So I went out. I did have a good time. I brought me back a po' boy. So, like, I found they had a vegetarian option, and she just puts, like, all these mixed vegetables on a hoagie roll with, like, pickles and tomatoes. I don't think they put no mayonnaise on that. If they did, I didn't taste none. But it was really delicious. It was really good. And then I had some tater tots. I tried to warm up eating this morning. It was nasty. Yeah. But I'm getting ready to get up, put my clothes on, and go back out on this adventure. I mean, I really have enjoyed it more than not enjoyed it. It's just like those things, those key things that popped up, really was disturbing. Okay, and I see other things. I see many, like, things throughout the thing, but those key things were really disturbing. It was really supposed to make me just like, and I'm not that type of woman. I'm not that type of woman. I have control over my mental. I have control over my emotions, and I have control over the way that I display myself to the world. And I choose to breathe in love and exhale agape. I choose to see the beauty in life. I choose to be all that I say that I am. I am Belanosis, your hostess with the mostest, and you know this. Agape ambassador, gatekeeper of sacred agape vibrations. I'm going to get ready to get up and put my clothes on. I hope that this message has been thorough. If it has left any openings, I do think that I will be documenting this trip more. I'm getting ready. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm getting ready to do. I don't know if I want to go shopping. I do. You know what I do fucking want? I want to go get some of that goddamn candy. That's what I want. That's what I want to do. I want to go get these Creole candies because I don't eat candy at home. It's very rare that I eat candy at home. So I'm going to go get me some of the Raleighs because they're delicious. And that's what I want. And let me tell you something. They was in the window making this praline shit. And they don't even give you the one they make in the window. I'm like, well, why y'all put this shit in the window then? Because that's the one that I want. I want the hot candy in the window. but it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. I went ahead, but I'm going to go get me some more pralines because that shit is delicious. And I love it. And I don't know if I'm gonna bring some home with me or not because, you know, this place, that's another thing I say. It really encourages people to indulge in that, like, you know, in the taboos. And it's kind of taboo for me to have candy. So I'm going to indulge in that shit. I'm probably going to find me some cheesy grits tomorrow, too, because I don't eat corn, so I don't eat grits. And it's been a long time since I had grits, and I think I want some grits. But anyway, I love y'all. This has been very freeing for me. I look forward to enjoying my day. And I caught myself saying blessings to everybody yesterday. Somebody told me blessings to me too yesterday. It was like, blessings to you. And I'm like, blessings to you too. So blessings to everybody because it's a really beautiful thing to energetically give to another being. And I'm thankful for that. Belinosis.